Stella, Splash, Simba, Hydrox, and Boo, the Lucky Ferals. It is 10:20 a.m. and there's Ditto. We're very happy to see Ditto today. And I checked the live stream a little while ago, and Hydrox is in a shelter. And I just thought I would tell you what happened last night, because I was not filming anything last night because I was too involved in what was going on on the live stream. So I was giving the cats crunchies in the living room maybe around 11 p.m. But I should say prior to that, sometime, I don't know, maybe around 10 p.m. or something, we heard a cat fight outside. And I was like, oh my gosh, who is that? And I checked the live stream, and both Ditto and Hydrox appeared to be in their shelters at the time, so at least I knew it wasn't them. I had no idea who it was, but I knew it wasn't them. And the thing is, around here, if there's an animal fight, you can usually hear it even if it's not in your own yard. If it's a few yards away, you could still hear it. And it sounded like that one was a few yards away, but I wanted to check anyway. Then around 11 p.m., when I was giving the cats crunchies, we heard like a bang noise, not like a loud bang like a firecracker, but a bang noise like almost like when a cat jumps off a cat tower, but all the cats were eating crunchies in the living room, so I know it wasn't one of the cats. Or a bang like if a chair falls over or something like that. So I was like, oh my gosh, it sounds like something happened on the patio. And I went into Boo's room and I looked out the window, and right about here I saw a raccoon. And the raccoon was like walking around looking for food or something, but when it saw me, it stood here on its hind legs. And at one point I thought it was going to climb up on this chair. This is just like a chair that I have here. At one point I thought it was going to get on this chair and then, kind of look at me in the window. It did not do that. It just kind of stood on its hind legs, and I was like, go away. I was just kind of talking to it. And I saw it then like walk down onto the patio. Now at that point, Ditto was in a shelter, and Hydrox, I thought he was in his shelter. To be honest, I don't know if he was in his shelter or not, because I was looking out of the window. Actually, I don't think he was in his shelter at that time, because in the time it took me to turn a computer on and open up a browser with the live stream on it, the next thing I remember seeing is the raccoon climbing into Hydrox's shelter. And Hydrox was not in his shelter at that time. So I was like, oh my gosh, there's a raccoon in Hydrox's shelter. And everyone in the chat room was like freaking out. They're like, oh no, that's not good. So because of all of the snow that we've had, I actually have a snow shovel inside here in my kitchen, kind of like against the door. So I grabbed the snow shovel and I went outside and I started banging on the shelter. So the raccoon left the shelter and then it came right back in. And this raccoon, when I saw that it did that, I was like, something is not right with this raccoon, because normally raccoons will just totally run away. And this raccoon did not run away. And what it started to do, it started to then tear up what was inside of Hydrox's shelter. So I have the heated pet mat, and then I have 3 training pads on top of it, like wee-wee pads. And it started just tearing them apart. And I was like, oh my gosh, it kind of looked like it was going to make itself a bed in there and curl up and go to sleep. And I did not want that to happen. So once again, I went out there with the shovel, banged on the shelter. It did not want to leave, like at all, did not want to leave. Hello, Simba. Simba says he's very happy that Ditto and Hydrox are safe. So I think it was my 3rd or 4th attempt to get the raccoon out of the shelter by banging on the side of it with the shovel that the raccoon finally left the shelter. Simba says it was a very stressful situation. So what happened was, after the raccoon left the shelter, it walked through here, and then it came over here, and on the side of the house here I have 2 solar panels. They're raised up off the ground, and underneath the solar panels there's like a little bench, and the cats like to lay under there. It's a little kind of like sheltered nook for them. So I heard the raccoon in that area. I'm like, what is it doing over there? I was like, I hope Hydrox is not under there, because I didn't want Hydrox to be kind of laying under there, and then the raccoon's gonna come and have issues with Hydrox. So after I heard that, I looked out the window again, and the next thing I saw was the raccoon going up to Ditto's shelter. Meanwhile, Ditto's in the shelter, and I thought Ditto would just kind of paw at the raccoon and then it would leave. But that was not the case. This was a very aggressive raccoon, and it just started like attacking Ditto, basically trying to attack Ditto. All of the feral cat shelters in this yard have 2 doors. They have an entrance and an exit, or you could say 2 exits or 2 entrances. It doesn't matter. They have 2 doors. The reason why is because of situations like this. So if you have an animal trying to come in one door, the cat inside the shelter can turn around and go out the other door. Unfortunately, the shelter that Ditto has been in, the back door of it, the door on the other side that we don't see, has been pretty much snowed in, and it was cleared out for a while when the snow melted, but then we got more snow. So instead of going out the other door, and it could be Ditto did not want to turn his back on the raccoon also, that could be another issue. What Ditto did was literally flew out of the shelter over the raccoon that was trying to get into the shelter, and then down these paths. Thankfully, I have the paths shoveled out for the cats because they totally used them last night. So he ran down this path, around here, and down the other path, and then down through the yard. And that raccoon chased him the whole way, like pretty much on his tail. I mean, they were probably like a foot apart, and it was kind of like a cartoon, but literally Ditto went like running full speed, and the raccoon was right after him full speed. Now, the one positive about that situation is that I did not hear any kind of animal fight anytime after that. If the raccoon would have caught up with Ditto, and if there would have been a fight, I would assume I would have heard it, because, you know, feral cats, they do, you know, screech and scream when they're in a fight, and raccoons do the same thing. They all vocalize when they're fighting. So I did not hear that. So I'm hoping that is the case. So it was a very stressful situation, and it could be that the raccoon was just very aggressive because it was hungry. It had to be really thin to get into Hydrox's shelter. It had to be small and thin to get in there because the doors are not, they're not large doors. They're not made for, you know, large raccoons. So it had to be small to get in there. I think it was starving because with all of this snow, and the snow has been here for weeks now, it's nearly impossible for a lot of the wildlife to find food. So I would think a lot of the wildlife is very, very hungry. So that's what it could be. Some people say it could be a rabid raccoon, could have rabies. That's what it could be too. We don't know. I've heard that raccoons die within a few days of being infected with rabies. Also, when raccoons have rabies, they exhibit other symptoms that this raccoon did not exhibit. This raccoon looked perfectly normal. The only thing was it was acting very aggressively. It was not stumbling around. It did not look disoriented. It was not foaming at the mouth. It did not look sick or lethargic or anything like that, or any of these symptoms of a raccoon infected with rabies. So what happened was eventually Hydrox came back, and Hydrox was hanging out around the side of the house, and then Ditto came back, and Ditto was hanging out here by the back door. And then Hydrox went inside of Ditto's shelter, and that's where Hydrox spent his night, inside of Ditto's shelter. And I don't know where Ditto spent his night. He might have gone back to wherever he was sheltering before he moved into this shelter. But it was definitely very stressful, and I did contact animal control about the raccoon, about an aggressive raccoon being in the area. Here's Hydrox. So they were aware of that. They also told me to contact local police, and you know, the local police, they're like, they really can't do much unless the animal is contained. But they eventually did send one or two of their vehicles here with searchlights and spotlights to kind of see if they could locate the animal. But you know what? When you're living along a wooded area, and not just a small wooded area, it goes on for a while. Even if you see a raccoon, you don't know if it's the raccoon that's being aggressive unless you see the raccoon specifically being aggressive. So, you know, it's good that they made an effort. It's good that, you know, they came out and they're like, okay, we'll take a look, but, you know, I didn't expect much, but at least I did put a report in, so if anyone else sees an aggressive raccoon, or if it does end up like having rabies or something, I did what I could. So that's the situation. I'm gonna give the cat some food because there's no food outside right now. So if you want to check in on Hydrox and Ditto, please make sure to subscribe to Lucky Ferals Live, because that's where the live streams now live. They live on a separate channel, and I can put a link to that channel in the description below this video. I can also put a link to it in a pinned comment if you'd like to just check in on them every now and then, see what's going on with the live stream, or if you want to chat with fellow cat people. There's usually always someone very helpful in the chat. So this is the scene of the crime from last night when the raccoon burglar broke into Hydrox's shelter. This is how it trashed the place. So thankfully, it looks like it was only tearing up the training pads. I was afraid. It kind of looked like it might have been actually getting into the heated pet match. So thankfully it did not do that. So today I'm getting rid of all of those training pads, and I am going to be putting 3 new training pads in, and yeah, hopefully the raccoon will stay out. But that's the door. It's either 6 inches by 6 inches or 5 inches by 5 inches. It's not a big door at all. It is 1:38 p.m. and it is snowing again. I had no idea that it was going to snow today because the forecast I was looking at said it was going to be a snowy mix, meaning kind of just like rain and snow and some sleet and stuff like that. So it's just been non-stop snow all day so far. Hello, Splash. How are you doing? Listen, Splash, I gotta go out. I gotta go to the post office. You want me to get you something while I'm out? You want anything from Petco? You want me to pick you up something from Petco? He's thinking about it. He says no, he has everything he needs. Right, Splash? You have everything you need. He has food, he has water, he has lots of toys. He has crunchies, he has litter, he has everything. Splash, you got everything you need. You want me to pick you up something from somewhere else? He says no, he's a cat, he doesn't need anything from anywhere else. He says maybe another cat tower. You want another cat tower, Splash? You want another cat tower? Where would you like to put it? You want a taller cat tower somewhere? No, Splash says he's good. Splash says he's perfectly happy, right, Splash? Stella, you want me to get you something from Petco? Would you like something from PetSmart? No, you say you're good too? Stella says she's good. She has everything she needs. Splash, you want to go with me? You want to go in the car with me? You want to get in a carrier and we could go for a ride together? He says no. He's very happy here on the bed. How you doing, Splash? Thank you for watching this Lucky Ferals video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you'd like me to post more videos, and please make sure to check out these other videos that were selected especially for you.